Hey guys, it's bro you whack, and you probably heard the news yesterday, just as long as you were just paying attention to literally anyone that plays Overwatch, but the brand new experimental mode along with the new Ashe skin challenge went live across all platforms yesterday, and I did make a video talking about both of those things, but in regards of the experimental mode video, I didn't really do a good job showcasing off the new abilities or all the new tank changes. I did want to take the beginning of this video to show off the changes in its entirety in a lot more cleaner form on the practice range. So showing off the changes, the op tanks are going to be reaping most of the benefits. First starting off with D.Va, where her armor and her regular health are just going to be shifting, where she has now 400 armor and her defense makes just last a whole 2 seconds longer, giving her a lot more protection opportunities. And also when she's moving with her primary form of fire, she does move a lot quicker. Orisa's is really simple. Her cooldown to her shield decreased by 2 seconds, and it did increase a whole 300 hit points to now 900. Reinhardt's changes are interesting, but just like D.Va, his armor and health did switch, so now he has a lot more armor, making him even more of a main tank. His hammer does do a little bit more damage, but it's kind of irrelevant when it comes to squishies, and his barrier shield does regenerate a lot faster, but I wasn't really able to show that in game, but it's 50 per second more. So Roadhog probably has the most iconic changes, first with his take a breather, where it's an AoE heal every single time he heals, and it heals for you for 25 health per second. His chain hook now is only 6 seconds, so reverting it back to where it was, I think, about a year ago. He does do a little less damage with his primary form of fire, and his whole hog, his ultimate, does take a little bit longer to get. Sigma received another interesting change, just kind of going back to his old ways, where his shield now is about 1200 and it regenerates a whole 80 points faster. Winston got an additional 100 armor points, making his health pool a total of 600. Unlike D.Va and Reinhardt, where they switched armor points, he just gets extra armor, and his barrier cooldown now is 3 seconds shorter, which is really good because that's about the time of when his barrier will just stop working in general. And Zarya, another op tank, receiving iconic changes, where her ally bubbles now is like a chain bubble, where if you bubble one person, if they're in the proximity of that bubble, other allies now get bubbled as well, along with reduction to her damage to her primary and secondary form of fire, and also her cooldown to her self bubble now got reduced by 2 seconds, along with the ally bubbles lasting a little bit longer than normal. So it's a little bit weird to time out, but you get kind of used to it. And those were all the changes to all the heroes in experimental mode. It was just the tanks, excluding Hammond. Hammond surprisingly didn't receive a change. You thought he would because he is considered one of the most off tanks of all time. Now, if you haven't really been keeping up with the news, you're probably shocked by all these changes. Why did they completely change the tanks? Why is there only one tank in experimental mode? Oh yeah, did you also not hear that there's a 3-2-1 composition in experimental mode? You're probably freaking out. It's like, what's going on? Why is Blizzard ruining their game? And that's where I want to tell you to slow your roll, alright? This is only in experimental mode. All these drastic changes that you're seeing on the screen and the gameplay that you're watching is only ever going to be in experimental mode unless we really like it. These changes aren't coming to quick play. They're not coming to competitive. The 3-2-1 comp is not going to be coming to live servers. These changes to tanks aren't probably ever going to see the light of day unless we like it. And this is where us as the community have to give feedback to how we like these changes in experimental mode, and only in experimental mode. And last time I asked you guys to comment and give feedback, surprisingly there weren't a lot of comments, and it kind of frustrates me because I constantly seeing people complain about Overwatch, yet when given an opportunity they keep their mouths shut. Like, this is the time where you can really give your issues with the 3-2-1 comp, what you hate about the tank, or why you like the fact that there's 3 additional DPS in a composition. And that's what I'm going to be doing in this video, giving my initial thoughts to experimental mode. But before I do, I want every one of you guys to comment down below, because Blizzard is going to be looking at the videos talking about experimental mode that gets thousands of views and looking at the comments. And if they see an overwhelming amount of support for the 3-2-1 comp, but they hate the fact that the tanks are completely changed, then they might add 3-2-1 comp into regular quick Quick Breaker. Who's to know? I don't know, but this is where I'm gonna be giving my feedback, because if someone's gonna ask me about my favorite video game and them changing it, yeah, I'm gonna tell them how I feel and how I like it and how I don't like it. I'm not gonna go to my Discord friends and complain about the game to them, because that's not giving feedback. They can't magically hear what you're thinking. No, I'm gonna tell them directly, because I know what giving feedback is like. And my initial thoughts to experimental mode, the fact that they got rid of one tank and replaced it with one DPS, the fact that there is now a bunch of changes to especially the off tanks, I love it. I love it. I really do love experimental mode. And some might say, well, you're just a biased DPS player. Of course you like these changes. And I'm not gonna disagree with you. I love the fact that I'm able to actually find a game in under 5 minutes while queuing up for DPS. I love the fact that I'm able to actually shoot things and not shoot a shield. I feel like this is like 2016 Overwatch all over again, because way back then, yeah, you would only have one tank and maybe just one healer and 4 DPS, but now it's a little bit more organized, but a little bit more fun. It's a first-person shooter. It's not a shield shooter. But I also really love the tank changes, and that's what I want to talk about right now, because obviously this is the biggest drastic change. Yeah, the additional DPS is nice, but this is where the most controversy is going to come from, is the fact that the off tanks are drastically changed, is the fact that we only have one more tank, and is the fact that we might not need a main tank anymore. And that's my biggest issue right now, is that in regular quick play and competitive, it's like we're kind of forced to play a main tank every single time, because it's just been known ever since 2016, shield tanks are the way to go. We need something to help protect, and as long as you don't get your shield broken first, then we're probably going to win the game. But in experimental mode, and I don't know if it's because we're in the honeymoon stage, I don't know if people are just playing a lot of off tanks because they are the most changed, but it just feels like not only is it a lot more fun because you're able to shoot things, but no one's really forced to play a Reinhardt or forced to play an Orisa or a Sigma, because, well, there's other tanks that have opportunities to maybe protect you, but maybe opportunities to provide a different kind of play style. With Roadhog specifically, I found myself playing a lot more aggressive with my team, because with my toolkit, obviously I don't have a shield, but it doesn't matter if we need protection if we're punching them in the mouth and killing them. We don't need protection from dead enemies. With that 2-second cooldown reduction to his hook, you can be a lot more aggressive and frequent with this hook, and with his AoE heal, again, you can be a lot more aggressive, because if you're in the proximity of the enemy and if you get in their space, all you gotta do is heal yourself, and now you're healing everyone. It's kind of like a go play style in my eyes. And oftentimes I found myself with Zarya obviously being a great off tank, which she's always been known to do, but also in key instances being a main tank, replacing the Reinhardt that we oh so desperately needed before, but now we don't need. Why? Because in key instances of a Diva Bomb or a McCree High Noon or a Genji Dragon, well, not really Genji, but in just instances like that where a Reinhardt would have thrived because of the shield, now you just have to chain bubble people and you protect them. Not only does it benefit your teammates because you're obviously providing the protection that they so desperately need that they could easily get with the Reinhardt, but you also get the added benefit of just going from a 0 to 170 million charge, because there is more opportunity for the enemy team or for that ultimate to give you charge. And another reason why I like the off tank changes, or just the fact that we only have one tank, is the fact that we're able to hard counter other tanks. I found myself most often going against a Roadhog thinking I should be playing something like a Diva, because then I can just defense matrix the hook from the Roadhog. But if I find myself going against a good Diva, I want to play Zarya because I can easily beam her down. If I'm going against a good Zarya, well, I want to play a Reiner because I can protect my team from the beam. I feel like that hard counter tactic got lost a long time ago because more heroes got added that could do multiple things. So it wasn't just as easy as, okay, Zarya, switch to Diva to counter this hero. Well, you gotta think about the other tank that's also on the field. But that doesn't mean this game mode is all sunshine and rainbows, because there is one glaring problem that you'll only come to find if you do play this game mode constantly, like I did yesterday on my Twitch. By the way, you should follow my Twitch. But it's the fact that long-range heroes, specifically snipers and hit scans, thrived in this game mode. Ashe, McCree, Widow, Hanzo. Why? Because of the lack of shield. see, that's why we need a shield tank, and I'm not disagreeing with you. Like, I never said that shield tanks are the aids of Overwatch, because no, I realize their purpose. In that instance, yeah, you should be playing a Reinhardt or Sigma, but again, maybe we're just on the honeymoon stage where everyone wants to play Zarya, Roadhog, and Diva, but you also gotta remember someone like Winston received a change, and something I found with Winston is that you can play a lot more aggressive because you do have that extra 100 health. Not just health, armor, which means he's a lot harder to kill, and that's what I really do like about these changes, is that if you're willing to flex onto different tanks, you can hard counter people. On top of that, the DPS, now they're able to shoot things like, I don't know how much I can really stress this, but the DPS can now finally hit the other DPS. They can hit the one tank that is protecting their team, and the one tank, if they're really good, they can do some work because now they're able to do multiple things, specifically like with Zarya or with Diva. They can be a good DPS hero, or they can help protect their team. And I haven't once mentioned the healers, but the healers I also feel like now are contributing a lot more, because I found myself crying for heals way more, which means that healers are needing to be protected a lot more. So again, there are some glaring issues with experimental mode. Maybe snipers and hit scans need to be slightly reworked, but then at that point, how much are you really changing Overwatch to make everybody happy? But here's what I will say. If they were to change Overwatch to have a 3-2-1 composition and keep these changes, I don't think it would really be that bad. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the main tanks would be rest in peace, and I would not disagree with you. But in times of hit scans being the most prevalent hero, then you're gonna be called upon. But maybe you disagree with me. I want you to let me know in the comments down below what you think about experimental mode. I think it has some good things that it does now, and I think it does some bad things that needs to be looked at. But anyway, guys, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch videos to come, and bye.